love this song.
So who had a ray gun?
No, fucktard. Not Ray Gun. Reagan. Ronald Reagan, 40th President of the United States.
Whatever, dude.
Reagan had to deal with all this same stuff in the 80s. Insurgents trying to overthrow their governments. Back then, the Afghans went crying to the Russians for help.
Facts.
This pisses Reagan off so much, his boys whip up Operation Cyclone and use the CIA to arm and train the Mujahideen. One of these CIA-trained badass Lawrence of Arabia SOBs who kicks the Russians' asses out of Afghanistan ends up being Osama bin Laden.
Oh, snap.
No shit.
True story. So the Mujis kick Russia's red ass across the sand, the entire Russian economy collapses, and goodbye USSR. Now America has no more bad guys to fight.
Oh, go America! It's your birthday!
But in the meantime, Osama and his now well-armed Al-Qaeda brothers start screwing with everybody. Egypt, Algeria, hell, he's blown up half the Middle Eastern governments trying to create a unified Muslim country. But here's the thing, the people don't want it.
Why?
Don't know. Maybe they like their lives how they were. So he deems them all viable targets.
He started blowing up his own fucking people? Man, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's why they're called terrorists, douchebag.
So, Bush Sr. becomes President 41. Before we know it, he's balls deep in Kuwait fighting Saddam for the Saudis. This pisses Osama off so much, he starts mouthing off about Saudi Arabia. So the Saudis banish his ass.
Sucks to be you.
Now, the dude's living in a cave in the hills of Afghanistan, and he's like, screw this noise, and calls down a jihad on all Americans. So it's fatwa on America and our allies. And what happens next?
9/11?
Oh, shit. Give that man a gold star.
Fuck you, bitch.
The Marines are balls deep in Iraq, Afghanistan, and now this butthole. The war on terror's got a plug to pull on the septic tank of insurgents. This place is the drain stopper.
I heard that.
Every evil bastard that got banished, kicked out, had nowhere else to go, they came here. Anyway, it's the ETIM you really need to be worried about. The ETIMs carried out the suicide bombings along the Zhanjiang border in China's backyard. And they don't like anyone pissing in their cornflakes. So China caught some of their leaders and executed them publicly via firing squad.
ETIM swears retaliation.
And so they killed those Chinese athletes last year at the Olympics.
So what do you think, Sergeant Kirby? You've seen the most action out of all of us. Back at Pendleton in what, 2 weeks?
The insurgents are well trained and they've been fighting the PLA for a lot of years. So this is not going to be easy. There's no routes into the countryside to dig these cowards out of there other than the ones we're going to be blazing. I will say this. We're gonna see some motivating grade A hardcore action every Marine to give his left nut for. Devil! Hoorah!
At ease. Good morning. Welcome to Tajikistan, Marines. Most of you already know me. I'm Colonel Hardaway, your battalion commander. Operation Enduring Shield is more than just rooting insurgents out of their hiding holes. It's about protecting the people of this country from persecution. The insurgency here is taking full advantage of a destabilized government that's struggling due to a number of factors. We're here to reverse that situation by supporting the government forces in retaining control of their territories and giving aid to the civilians in any way we can. But this isn't just a ground war, it's a mind war. We are here to instill hope in the civilians of this country, not just with honorable words, but to win back some of the human terrain in this area. I need cover and support for the explosive ordnance disposal teams as they identify and disarm any IEDs in these areas and extend our safe zone over these hotspots. Be aware of these areas to the north. We have seen a lot of traffic around this area. I'm expecting there to be communication posts and weapons caches there. Collateral damage must be kept to a minimum, but the rules of engagement are clear. Anyone approaching a Marine with a weapon will be considered a threat and is to be suppressed. Do I make myself clear? If you get into any trouble, air support will be standing by. The A-10 call sign is Tusker 2-4. Fight hard. Fight to win. Dismissed. So far, so good, Marines. The textbook start to Enduring Shield. Now, we might have started capturing hearts and minds with our ability to protect and serve, but it is imperative we maintain our momentum. Insurgents are still hitting military and civilian targets, so they're going to need a further persuasion. Get me? One of our major objectives is to maintain and protect the country's infrastructure, helping to stabilize this region. The Nurak hydroelectric dam will be our keystone to that end. It took the Russians over 20 years to erect this monument to infrastructure, but Mother Nature's been eating it away. It supplies over 98% of the country's electricity, and so we're going to repair it. I need an engineering team at that dam ASAP. It's going to be a hot journey, and I ain't just talking about the weather, so make sure that we have their asses covered. There's some nasty choke points along the way. I'd anticipate trouble around these areas. The goal is to get FOB Viper established at the dam's location. We already have an outpost there, so we will consolidate that. Anyone approaching that convoy is considered a threat and is to be neutralized. Those are the rules of engagement, gentlemen, and Mustang will not accept any casualties, so keep your eyes on the mission and not the scenery. Dismissed. This is the mission every Marine would give up his best Susie for, gentlemen. The final chapter of Enduring Shield will see us assigned as the main assault group tasked with capturing the primary insurgent stronghold. It's of utmost tactical importance we secure this objective, as it will seriously cripple the insurgency's ability to move and organize throughout the country. This compound is heavily fortified and nestled deep within the ravine and valleys in the mountains just north of the Nurak Dam. Prophet informs us that these Tajis are well armed and waiting for trouble. We have confirmation of PKP and other fixed guns in the locale. I want to utilize engage and flank maneuvers to draw the enemy out along the valley and then rain down a bucket of shit on them in the form of infantry on the valley sides, as well as JDAMs and A-10s. They won't know what hit them. Once inside, your Marines will search and clear the compound, neutralizing all hostiles in the area. Once the mission is accomplished and a perimeter is established, rendezvous with the Humvees heading back to FOB Viper. I cannot overemphasize this, gentlemen. The insurgents will stop at nothing to keep us from securing this location. The violence of our actions will be to our advantage, as this will be shock and awe to its fullest. Team leaders, prep your Marines. Insertion will be condition 1, red hot. Get ready to shake the pillars of hell, gentlemen. Dismissed. Okay, Marines, let me tell you what I know. Our enemy is the PLA. We are in conflict with them. We have taken casualties, and so have they. They've mobilized massive numbers of troops and mechanized units into the area. But we will prevail in the face of adversity. We're very much still in this fight, and it's time to bring our A-game and make life difficult for these bastards. From what we can ascertain, their strategy is to bulldoze their way west through the country, destroying every last vestige of the ETIM. History has shown that China likes to keep a healthy distance from its enemies. I believe that they intend to turn Tajikistan into a buffer zone between themselves and the rest of the world. That is an endeavor we cannot conceive. We have engaged both groups in multiple skirmishes along the border, but it's resulting in too many casualties. And Mustang wants us to do what Marines do best. Strike hard, strike fast, and bring the balance of power back to our favor. Let's give this red wave something to break on. I need defensive lines set up in front of those advancing PLA units. Be advised, comms and satellites are currently offline. There will be no air support until we remedy that. Speaking of air support, we have had visual confirmation of Chinese J-10s in this area. Gentlemen, it never rains, but it pours. This will get heavy. Do not give up the line. Understood? Dismissed. Now listen up, Marines. We're in bad shape. Supplies are low, and we have a handful of vehicles left. However, the enemy is pushing west and appears to have bypassed FOB Viper. This means we have a window of opportunity to fuck these guys up. Welcome to Operation Unbroken Resistance. I have personally tasked Outlaw to maneuver into an overwatch position where we will have the opportunity to call in one airstrike on the BLA stronghold. This will allow a diversionary opening for them to ambush a convoy that we have learned is reinforcing and resupplying the BLA through its MSR. Destruction of this target is imperative to regain our foothold in this area. Cut off fast supplies and they'll bleed out quickly. With the mission accomplished, all fire teams will be extracted back to FOB Viper for debrief. Stallion wanted a Mossad team or a false recon task to dissolve. But given yesterday's unexplainable phenomena, I requested this be our mission. Failure is not an option here. If this goes wrong, none of us are going to make it out of here. Don't fail me, Marines. Now let's get some. Dismissed. The red rain's falling hard on us, gentlemen, and we need to make a stand now, or we can forget Tajikistan. PLA's pushing strong through western areas of the country, so it's time to push back. But to do so, we need to stop the BLA primary assault force by denying them access to the main strategic bridge in the region. Now, Hangman is currently defending this locale at high cost. I expect them to prevail. We will assign every resource at our disposal to assist them. The bridge is a critical bottleneck. It's the only way the PLA can get to the west. God knows what they've got planned after Tajikistan. However, the lines are so fat and long that they can't bypass this position. There's no way around. For those of you who know your history, I need 300 Spartans at that bridge to fight till their last breath. Stallion wants us to hit them so they can feel it. You are to neutralize these threats and advance to the bridge where we will have the opportunity to join in the mother of all battles. Is that understood? Clear that route, hold that bridge, and never forget your Marines. All the communists in hell can't overrun you. Dismissed. That was one hell of a mission, Marines. I commend you. Tides are turning and the BLA are floundering, but we're not finished yet. Our new objective is the ancient Hisar Fortress. It was built back in 400 AD, and even Attila the Hun's men couldn't breach these walls. Unfortunately for them, they weren't in the core. I want convoys moving at high speed to counterattack at this location. You will encounter pockets of resistance all in the way. Do not stop to engage unless you have to. Remember, tempo, tempo, tempo. This action will weaken their initial assault force so we can reach the target. Once you get to Hisar, you will engage all hostiles you encounter utilizing mount tactics as you clear the town. Then head for the primary objective. The U.S. forces must take control of the hill fort and establish this as the new U.S. FOB, setting up a defensive perimeter until reinforcements arrive. If you need it, Cobra Air Support and A-10s will be on station to assist. Ready those weapons and put your war paint on. We're going on a hunt. Dismissed. PLA's been pushed back to a secondary front, but intel informs us to expect a second wave any day now. Mustang's got a very specific job for you that cannot fail, or the entire battalion will be without air support for tomorrow's engagement. The Opno Observatory Complex is located about 4 clicks north of FOB Python and is a reported anti-aircraft weapons platform for the BLA. There have been reports of a large cache of shoulder-mounted anti-aircraft weapons as well as long-range missiles, such as HQ-2s, which pose a very significant threat to our air cover. We need to remove that threat ricky-tick before we can push our assault forward. As you will not have any air support, maintain a state of weapons calm and ammo conservation. I have an armored division of PLA hightailing it towards our location. We need that air support back online. Now this is where I want to be tomorrow. Unless we succeed here, we are at a stalemate. Now, I know we're all tired, but courage is our endurance, and we must endure because if we fail, our fellow Marines will be put in harm's way. Understood? Good hunting. Dismissed. We're kicking ass and taking no names in the AO, gentlemen. Ha! Well done! Liberating the Arkno Observatory has unlocked every weapon we need to finish this off. We hurt them good, gentlemen, and now we've got one more final push that should pop a cap in these Chinese motherfuckers for good. Our armor is ready to put the hurt on the PLA. Expect to see some serious mechanized engagements going on all around Gudagrad. However, that town is a no-go zone for our armor and an ambush nightmare. We need our infantry owning that town. Whoever controls that town controls the battlefield. We will need to conduct mount operations, clear the city building by building, to remove any other AT or AA threats to our armor. Once the town is in our control, it will be our vantage point to coordinate air and ground fire against the PLA. Artillery strikes and close air support will be provided if you need them. Simple search and destroy. Find a threat, knock it out. This is the final push, gentlemen, and there aren't enough Chinamen in the world to stop a fully armed Marine battalion from going where they want to go. I'm proud to be in command of you Marines. Dismissed.